afternoon. It's the pit stop. I'm Stephen McCollum. We can't thank you enough for joining us, whether you're catching us live right now or on demand here on YouTube. TME Media AZ is where you can find our programming, of course, over on Rumble as well. For those of you that prefer Rumble, rumble.com/user/slash TME Media is where you can find our programming over there. All of our shows are on Rumble. All of our shows, except for one, The Real Matrix, are over here at YouTube as well. But this is an exciting week because we are the weekly racing show and we look back at last week's racing. We look ahead to this weekend as well. Now, we focus on IndyCar and NASCAR. We'll touch on F1 and other circuits out there as it's deemed appropriate. Catch us every week, as I said, on YouTube and Rumble. Free podcast systems as well. Just search the Pit Stop Talk, or even if you search the Pit Stop with Steven, it pops right up for you. Follow us on X as well, the Pit Stop Talk, and come and join the conversation during the racing weekend. And we look back to last weekend before we look ahead to this weekend, and this weekend's an exciting weekend, especially on on the NASCAR side of things. IndyCar is back underway this weekend as well, bud. We're going to see the first Navy race there on the Navy base there at Coronado Island. It's been interesting getting ready for a race that's never been done before. But before we can even talk about that and look ahead, IndyCar was off last week. The NASCAR Truck Series was off last week as well, getting ready for that San Diego race. But of course, the NASCAR O'Reilly and Cup Series were both at Pocono last weekend. Some weather was moving in on the Cup Series, so they had to move that race up a little bit. Truck Series went off the O'Reilly Series went off without a hitch. But now, before we can look ahead, let's look back at last weekend in Pocono. 18 lead changes. That's a record there at Pocono for the O'Reilly race. 10 cautions, including 4 just in the opening 25 lap stage here at Pocono. A red flag spanned 7-8 minutes roughly later on in the race as well. All of that is how we get started and saw here with that O'Reilly race at Pocono. All of that happened, and Justin Allgaier takes the checkered flag. And stop me if you've heard that before here, especially this year in the O'Reilly series. Allgaier led 35 of the 100 laps. He did take the lead for good after some battles out there. This was a fun race on the restart with 2 laps remaining. Battled it out, gets to the front. So much so, I want to show you that. Allgaier to the lead on the restart. O'Reilly won.
One up and trying to work the other one down. Leaning on each other as we go green. Oh, Creed makes it 3 wide on his teammate, down into 1. Outside lane, Allgaier getting a shove from William Byron. Brent Cruz in the mix. 7 all clear out front. Allgaier leads, Byron coming with him. And look at Brent Cruz down low trying to get to the second spot. Byron's going to have the momentum on the outside.
I mean, you see the push there from teammate in the O'Reilly series. In this case, William Byron pushing Allgaier to the front. Hey, Brent Cruz, remember that name. I told you guys, best young driver being 18 years old out there on the O'Reilly racing circuit. But Allgaier took that push from William Byron, raced off to a .607 second win over Brent Cruz, who did end up finishing second and getting in front of William Byron there. Now, that's Allgaier's 5th win of the year. That ties his previous high season win total. He's going to beat that this year, folks, by maybe 2, 3, 4 races. By the way, it's his first win at Pocono ever. And don't forget, Pocono, that 2.5 miler there at Pocono. It's first win ever for Justin Allgaier. I like Justin Allgaier a lot as a racer. He's obviously the older statesman there in the O'Reilly series. And I enjoy his, after he wins, just his even keel. So let's check in with Allgaier after the race, O'Reilly 2.
To get the win.
Well, first of all, I got to say a huge thank you to William Byron, because without that shove at the end of the race, it was probably game over. This crowd, though, you all fans, I mean, I can't even describe it to you how cool it was seeing you guys all cheering. Just so proud of this race team, everybody.
I mean, you see right there, he goes into his sponsorship stuff there. But you see there, right? First thing he says, giving credit to William Byron, he would not have that win unless that push happened as you saw there as well. And don't forget, thank you to the CW for all of the video coverage here of the O'Reilly race. Now, the race started with Taylor Gray as the pole leader here as he won that. He actually led 24 laps in this race. He won the opening stage, was having a good day out there. Then Brent Cruz, who ended up finishing second, he claimed the second stage win for Brent Cruz. I'm telling you, I really, really like the way Brent Cruz is racing and how he's competing here in these races. He's going to pick up a win, maybe two here early in his young NASCAR career. The final half of the race, though, that was between Justin Allgaier and Sam Mayer, who both used to be teammates with Junior Motorsports. Now Sam Mayer's moved on to another team. A big battle here. Sam Mayer led 14 laps. They exchanged the lead with Allgaier off and on in the race's closing laps, and they would pass each other on the same lap a lot of times as well. This was just an absolute battle here for the last 15, 16, 17 laps in this race. They started out side by side, out front on the final three restarts as well in this race. And Sam Mayer, disappointing second place finish. We'll talk about him more going into this weekend down there at the naval base there. But Justin Allgaier doing what he does, getting another win out there. And Sam Mayer is starting to compete a little bit on the circuit. Going to get a win, hopefully, here coming up in the next week or so. And we'll talk about that later on. But let's hope the finishing order here of the O'Reilly race at Pocono. Of course, we told you already Justin Allgaier, Brent Cruz in second. William Byron finished third there after giving that big push there to Justin Allgaier to get the win. Sam Mayer, fourth here. I said he was second earlier. I apologize. Fourth winning spot there for Sam Mayer here with that restart here, pushing him back as well. So I apologize for misspeaking earlier and jumping ahead of myself. Sheldon Creed in fifth, Anthony Alfredo in sixth, Raja Caruth in seventh, Brandon Jones in eighth, Connor Zilich there in ninth, coming down and racing this from the Cup Series. Carson Guapel there in the finishing out the top 10 for him as well. The other guys that are kind of in the playoff hunt, Taylor Gray, pole sitter, ends up 17th in this race. Austin Hill, 14th as well. Parker Retzlaff there in 15th as well. Brendan Poole in 18th. Then you can go all the way down the bottom. William Solwich at 21st. You get down there and you get some guys not having good days, meaning Corey Day out there, finishing a dead last in his accident as well. About before the race even began, lap zero him for Corey Day going out of this race. Jesse Love, we're going to talk about him in the news segment here. Didn't have a great day at all either. Wrecked on lap one as well. He got across the start finish line. So in his accident, day done right off the bat here for a guy who is competing with Justin Allgaier, for positioning in the playoff hunts. I'm sorry, not Caden. I apologize. Kyle Sieg there, 32nd as well. So some guys in this playoff hunt missing out. Tons of yellow flags, especially at the beginning of this race. The red flag as well on the, coming down. I forget who it was, but it hit the wall, came down, and took out half the field there in the middle. There. Let's show up the championship points on the O'Reilly series after the Pocono race. Justin Allgaier, look at this, folks. Look at this. Anybody do math? Because I don't do math very well, but that is a sizable lead there. 842 for Justin Allgaier. He is pretty much wrapped up. Obviously, he has wrapped up a spot. 7 races remaining in the regular season. He's obviously making the playoffs here. 842 points for him. It's roughly a 250-point lead for him over Jesse Love, who only has the 592 points in second spot. Corey Day, two drivers with bad days there at Pocono, but still in that second and third spot. Then you got Sheldon Creed, who was battling for that lead on that restart. Finished up there, but not where he wanted to in that fourth spot right now. And then you got Brandon Jones, Austin Hill, Carson Quapple, Sammy Smith, Sam Mayer there in the 9th spot now with his 4th place finish. Parker Retzlaff in 10th, William Solwich in 11th, Brent Cruz on the positive side inside the bubble, just 3 points inside the bubble in that 12th and final playoff spot for him. Now, Taylor Gray, who was on the pole there, right? Well, he finishes 3 points outside the bubble there, and outside looking in, Raja Karuth, 8 points out. Ryan Sieg, Kyle Sieg, well, Ryan Sieg, I should say, not Kyle, 37 points out. Brendan Poole, I can tell you this. Brendan Poole and anybody after him is pretty much done for their playoff hopes. Can you make up those points? Technically, yes. They're not going to with only 7 races remaining. So you're down to 15 drivers here for those 12 spots coming up. Who gets in? Who gets left out is the big question in the O'Reilly series. Now, the CW, they saw 1.111 million total viewers for Saturday's race. Now, that's another race over a million viewers for the CW this year. This is all from the Nelson panel and only data. The race peaked at 1.341 million total viewers. That was in the later laps there, as you saw the battle, and Justin Allgaier getting his 5th victory of the season. Now, I told you, another race over a million. It's official. All 17 O'Reilly races here in this year, 2026, they've cracked the 1 million total viewer mark. Every race has been over a million viewers. It was a 28% year-over-year increase in viewership from the same weekend. Last year, that race this weekend was done in Mexico City. 28% increase over that Mexico City, which was a one-and-done race there in Mexico City last year. So next up, well, the O'Reilly series, like the Truck Series and the Cup Series, they head to Southern California this weekend for that inaugural race there on the Naval Base Coronado outside of, in San Diego, I should say. Of course, we'll talk more about next weekend later on in the show and get you as familiar as we can with the Coronado race. A lot of unknowns over there on what's going to be the longest circuit of the year for these guys. It's not even going to be close to that length size. We'll get you what we know about it, and what we've seen about it is, they're setting that track up and getting ready for practice and all the fun stuff happening starting Friday this weekend. Now at Pocono, the Cup Series gets underway on Sunday here. As I told you last week on the show, and I've said it the last couple weeks, it is hard to not pick Denny Hamlin right now to win races, specifically at Pocono last weekend. We just went ahead and chose him. Came back last to first 2 races in a row. Now, it would have been 3 in a row at Pocono, which you never done before. But you could not take him, Denny Hamlin, at Pocono last weekend. And he proved that he was the right choice to get there. He proved that the way he's been running lately, that none of that is a fluke out there. He is a solid driver, just running caution to the wind right now, just relaxed out there. The race was moved up a couple hours due to the incoming weather, and Denny Hamlin ended up hosting his record 8th Cup Series trophy at that 2.5-mile Pocono track. He did have to, it wasn't easy though, he did have to hold off Tyler Reddick. He ended up winning by 1.678 seconds. And there's a lot of question marks at the end, right? Fuel-saving race is what it ended up being there at Pocono, and Denny Hamlin got that checkered flag. Here's the race to the checker for Denny Hamlin, Cup 1.
Hamlin is on a heater. Denny gets his 3rd victory in a row, and it comes here at Pocono.
3 in a row, 64, my man. Great work. Help us out. Great job, man. Great stage point and the finish. I think you closed up at like 20 from the point.
He's now 19
All I
back.
care about is wins, man. You guys are doing it. Way to go, man. I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, he's giving him the stats while he's driving. He says, I don't care about that. I only care about the wins out there. Now, this is the first time in his 21-year full-time career that Hamlin's won 3 consecutive races. He won in Nashville, Michigan, and, of course, Pocono last weekend. 2 of those were last to first place. He won the pole at Michigan, had to go to the back, and still wins that race. He is running unbelievable right now, him and his team. He now has 64 series wins. He just obviously picked up 62 and 63 recently as well, but he is now officially 9th on NASCAR's all-time list. He did break the tie that he had tied up with his former teammate, of course, Kyle Busch here last weekend in Michigan, tied him at 63. Now moved singly into ninth place with this win as well. Denny Hamlin in years past, you know, not a big fan of his post race press conferences and things like that. Something's changed with the man. So let's check in with him after the race, Cup 2.
You and I stood right here 2 years ago, and it was mostly booze. I kind of heard a mix today. Are they starting to turn and like this 45-year-old Denny Hamlin, these fans?
I mean, thank you. Thank you. That really means a lot. Seriously. Thank you so much for that. I mean, man, it's like a second home for me.
I want to ask you what Dale Jr. asked at the end of the race. Is this the most confident you've been in your 21 years in the Cup Series?
Well, I'd say it's certainly the best we've been. We come to the racetrack every week knowing that we got a great shot to win, and the team's just doing an amazing job giving me exactly what I need in the car every single week. So that's why we're winning.
I mean, look, just folks, he's not getting booed anymore. He's relaxed there. He's joking around there. He's got the big smile on his face. He's not the villain that he was there for a while. And it's translating, I believe it's translating to the racetrack with the way him and his teams are running out there. Now he's competing with the championship lead here with Tyler Reddick, who also won several races in a row earlier this year. And he was able to hold him off here. And Tyler Reddick got the second place finish here at Pocono behind Denny Hamlin. Let's check in with Tyler Reddick here on his second place finish, Cup 3.
Yeah, it almost worked. It's just, yeah, when you go that long, it all kind of falls to how you catch cars. I think we definitely lost second and a half there when we just took the tires and caught the 9, the 17. There was slow, lap down cars side by side. So we definitely lost time a couple spots there. Some of it's, everyone's racing hard for track position. Some of it's just bad luck, I guess, just where you catch cars. And so, yeah, it's a bummer. I mean, if the 11 wasn't the winner, you could consider this a good day, but 35 points just aren't enough right now. So, yeah, we knew qualifying was going to be tricky coming into this, and we weren't able to get stage points. I know we finished second, but yeah, scoring the points we did just didn't get the job done.
It is interesting to me. Now, Tyler Reddick is an analytical mind, not an emotional kid at all. You can see there disappointment on his face. But the thing I took out of that press conference right there, of course, Amazon Prime getting us our coverage here as well, is Tyler Reddick is thinking about the championship point levels here as Denny Hamlin and his team are getting closer to him. We'll show you that here in just a minute. But he's thinking about that lead right now at the number one spot. You said it right there. Hey, 37 points today is not enough to get it done. Denny Hamlin won this race. Obviously, not the best guy to have in front of us. He's thinking about that, folks, as he's out there on the racetrack. Maybe not on the racetrack, but into the race and definitely after the race, as you saw right there. Let's check out the finishing order of the Cup Series as well. I already told you Denny Hamlin, Tyler Reddick are 1 and 2 in this race. Hamlin led 28 laps. Tyler Reddick led 24 of the laps here. William Byron ended up finishing third here in this race. A good, successful weekend for William Byron here in the O'Reilly Series and the Cup Series there at Pocono. Then a name you haven't seen in the front for a while, John Hunter Nemechek. Slow it down to say it properly. Number 4 here in this race. Kyle Larson finished 5th. Then you got Eric Jones, Chris Buescher. We get to talk about him here with RFK coming up later in the show in the news segment. Ross Chastain in 8th, Ty Gibbs in 9th. Ryan Blaney and his team Penske finished in 10th. Then you got the Chase Elliott, Chase Briscoe, Daniel Suarez, Austin Cindric, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. there in the top 15, which means there's some big names we haven't mentioned yet in this race. I was kind of surprised. Bubba Wallace, best finish here, 21. Expecting him to kind of pick it up here in the last few oval races, especially races with speed, to get up into the front there and, at least finish in the top 10. He finishes 21 here for Bubba Wallace as well. Christopher Bell, 26th. Well, it's pretty simple on that. He gambled with a fuel-saving strategy in the closing laps. He ended up getting passed by his teammate Hamlin with 5 laps remaining. He ran out of gas just as the field took the white flag. So that's why he finished 26th for him. Some of these guys made choices that didn't work out for him. And don't forget, Christopher Bell in the hunt here for a win. Ultimately ran out of fuel, but he is his first race there with the broken left wrist he suffered in that accident last week at Michigan. So good finish overall, not the final finish he wanted, but good racing there by Christopher Bell with that broken wrist going forward. And look, when you're driving and you got a wrist, you're not able to do the things you're used to doing out there. So solid finish or solid race for him, not the finish that he wanted there for Christopher Bell as well. Shane Van Gisbergen at 31st in this one. Of course, he's going to be all eyes on him this weekend coming up at the Naval Base race there, the road course. Joey Logano, 34th for him and that Team Penske team as well. Brad Keselowski, 38th, dead last there with that accident happening in lap 46 for him as well. Now, with 10 races left to set that 16 driver field, let's look at the championship points, Cup 5, if you will. Everybody can see where we are. It's pretty simple. Denny Hamlin's win streak is cut. Tyler Reddick's. Tyler Reddick had a 3-digit lead, meaning 100 and something point lead atop the standings earlier this year. Tyler Reddick is now only 19 points ahead of Hamlin. It's the smallest margin atop the standings on the whole year as well. Tyler Reddick has 5 race wins. Started with 3 to begin the season, 5 total so far. That lead has shrunk. In his interview there that I showed you, he mentioned it. Not enough points for with Denny Hamlin winning that race. He's thinking about that number 1 spot. Tyler Reddick is as well. Ryan Blaney in the 3rd spot there. Then you got Chase Elliott, Ty Gibbs, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Carson Hocevar. And then you got Christopher Bell there in the 10th spot with that 26th place finish by running out of gas. William Byron, Chase Briscoe, Bubba Wallace in the 13th spot. SVG there in the 14th, Austin Cindric. Then Eric Jones coming in on the inside of that bubble there in the 16th spot. Now, Austin Cindric in 15th, Eric Jones in the 16th spot. 4 points above the cut line. And Brad Keselowski with his last place finish there is outside the bubble looking in, but he is only 4 points behind. Brad Keselowski will be in the playoffs, I believe so, coming up here with the 10 races remaining. We'll get there on that inside. He's obviously within a striking distance. And Joey Logano, I think he'll get up there as well, but he's having some bad luck out there on the racetrack here lately. He's 21 points outside. Ryan Preece, Michael McDowell, everybody after that, they still have a chance. They got to start making some moves here to get up into that front. It seems to me, at least, that we only got a couple extra spots here battling for a playoff spot as we look at it right now as well. Caution flags on the Cup Series was just 5 cautions for 23 laps as well. Now, of course, next up for the Cup Series, well, they're over in Southern California as well, the Naval Base Coronado race. This is going to be a fun 3-mile plus race coming up, and we'll look ahead to that later in the show as well. But first, we'll get to our insane profit break here. And when we come back on the pit stop, we'll look at the news around racing. Quite a lot of it out there. We'll look ahead to IndyCar back on the track this weekend, Road America, and then NASCAR over at the Naval Base and the islands there, Coronado and outside of San Diego or in San Diego. You got it all coming your way. Come on back. It's the pit stop. fun looking back at Pocono Raceway and just kind of seeing the fun that happened there in Pennsylvania. All eyes are ahead this weekend, too. And feel bad for IndyCar racing at Road America because all the eyes are going to be on San Diego this weekend, right? Welcome back to the pit stop. Of course, I'm Stephen McCollum. Don't forget, like, subscribe the YouTube page, TME Media AZ. Of course, the Rumble page as well for those of you that prefer Rumble, rumble.com/user/TME Media. Right there, when you go to that main page, you'll see all the videos we upload there for all of our shows. Well, right above that, you'll see a channel button. Click on that, and you can pick on whether you want to watch the pit stop, the main event, McCollum on Business, the Real Matrix. All of them are there, and you can go to their channels. A little bit easier to find the video you're looking for through the channel side of things. Of course, catch all of our programming on YouTube and Rumble. And then give us a follow at the Pit Stop Talk for this show as well. We'd love to interact with you during the race week with the news out and during the races out there. And don't forget TME Media. That's our parent company. TME Media AZ on X is where you can find us. Follow us there. It just gives you the information about the shows and what we do here as well. And maybe you want to get involved and you've always wanted to do a podcast. You've always wanted to do a show, even if it's a short form show. Well, we can work with you on that. It doesn't have to be a half an hour long show. It doesn't have to be daily. It doesn't have to be weekly. It could be a monthly thing if you'd like. We'd love to work with you on getting that set up as well. But before we get into this weekend's IndyCar back on the track, NASCAR racing over in San Diego, well, let's look into the news around the sport of racing. Well, the Amazon Prime coverage is my favorite coverage of the year. I'm not going to lie to you. Last year, this year, it's proving to be at the same level. Their post and their pre and post game coverage is just absolutely phenomenal. I think more of these broadcast companies, they either need to go to Amazon Prime completely or these other networks need to step up and follow Amazon Prime's lead. Well, we're almost done with the Amazon Prime series, and it moves to TNT Sports next up as well for NASCAR in the Cup Series. Well, we found out TNT Sports, they're kind of adding to their NASCAR broadcast team. It's covering, their second in-season challenge coming up. We'll talk about that in just a minute. The in-season challenge begins when TNT takes up coverage here at Sonoma Raceway. Well, that's coming up June 28th. So not this weekend, obviously Naval Base next weekend here coming up. And so Amazon Prime's last weekend here is this weekend. Among the new additions to the TNT broadcast crew, Jimmy Johnson. He's obviously one of the most accomplished drivers. I don't need to tell you guys this in NASCAR history. He will join the TNT Sports team as a studio analyst. He will contribute to the TNT Sports coverage from Sonoma Raceway, North Wilkesboro Speedway. That'll be July 19th. And even over at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on July 26th is where he will be in coverage there. Marty Smith, if you know him, racing guy from the South there, a host and reporter with ESPN. He'll join TNT Sports NASCAR coverage as the pre- and post-race host over the whole 5-week in-season challenge that's going to start there at Sonoma Raceway. He will anchor coverage alongside Dale Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte, and Jamie McMurray throughout the tournament. Jeff Burton will contribute to TNT Sports coverage with NASCAR as a studio analyst for the race weekends at Chicagoland Speedway, which is July 4th weekend there, July 5th. Atlanta Motor Speedway there on July 12th. TNT Sports acclaimed booth of Earnhardt Jr., Steve Letarte, and even Adam Alexander. They will return. They'll be joined by pit reporters Marty Snyder, Shannon Spake, and also Danielle Estrada on the TNT feed and broadcast. So now the in-season challenge is on TNT again this year for 2026. If you don't know what that is, it's a little fun in-season challenge they do for the drivers. Last year, every big-name driver was eliminated, if not first weekend, second weekend with their matchups out there. Starting with the road course, eliminates some of these guys early. But it's a 5-race single elimination tournament. It adds a high-stakes bracket-style competition to the heart of the Cup Series season. Yeah. As I told you, it starts at Sonoma Raceway on June 28th, goes through Chicagoland July 4th weekend, Echo Park, which is Atlanta, July 12th, North Wilkesboro Speedway, which is a points race this year, July 19th. And then it ends the fifth race there at Indianapolis Motor Speedway on July 26th. That's where the final two drivers will go head to head for the championship trophy. $1 million prize, by the way, awarded to the winner of the in-season tournament. Now they don't do anything different. It's just you go run your race. Best driver in the matchup wins. Well, we have the bracket officially after Pocono Raceway. That's kind of where you did the your qualifying and where you sit in the in-season tournament. So throw up in-season one for me. This is the bracket. Now, of course, we'll get more into this as we get closer to it after this weekend of racing here. But you can kind of see what you're dealing with, right? Tyler Reddick goes up against Alec Bowman in that first race as well. There's some interesting choices here. Chase Briscoe goes up against AJ Allmendinger, who is a road course uh, guy that can run very well on the road courses. Chase Briscoe, upset alert here in this first round. Ty Gibbs goes against Austin Dillon. Same type of a situation as well for him in that matchup coming up. You will see, and we saw it last year, you'll see a lot of big name guys get eliminated early on. Now, Van Ginsbergen goes up against Ryan Priest. Obviously, SVG on a road course to start with has the advantage there. Ryan Blaney goes up against Josh Berry, Larson and Herbst, Byron Stenhouse Jr., Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain. Interesting matchup for those two as well. Denny Hamlin, Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon is a better road course driver than Denny Hamlin is. Denny Hamlin's the 2 seed going into this. So could see an upset right off the bat as well. Eric Jones is 15th seed. Joey Logano, 18th seed. Could see another quote unquote upset at that point as well. So interesting matchups here. It's just qualifying. They race like normal. Just the top driver in the race. Somebody gets knocked out in a wreck. Your other guy, your guy you're racing against finishes ahead of you. You wreck out. They finish. They win. Move on. Just a fun little side dynamic. I could take it or leave it, but it does add a little bit into the summer season here as well to see who, like last year, which underdogs can get into the final of this and win $1 million. That goes a long way for a underfunded team out there as well if they can get there. Of course, we'll look more into this in-season challenge after this weekend and going into next week where Sonoma will come along. Other news out there, RFK Racing announced that Chris Buescher, now he's the 17-year member of the RFK Racing family, started wrenching. He eventually moved into the driver's circle and things like that, and he's been running with them for about 11 years now as a driver. He signed a multi-year contract extension to remain the driver of the number 17 car there in the Cup Series. So he's staying where he's at, and the rumors are true. We told you, a week or so ago, that there's going to be a change of Wood Brothers. And we had the speculation of who was going to move into it. It's officially official. Jesse Love, he is stratospheric going through here in his NASCAR career and how he's moving up. He won the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series championship last year. Well, he's getting the nod here in the number 21 Ford Mustang for that Wood Brothers Racing as well in the Cup Series full time starting next year in 2027. He'll add his name to a long list of accomplished drivers who have competed for the Wood Brothers when he does take over that 21 car in next year. So full time as well, moving up to that side. He's established himself as one of NASCAR's brightest young stars. He became the youngest champion in the ARCA Menards Series history with his first ARCA Menards Series West title at the age of 16. He went on to capture the 23 ARCA Menards Series championship before he went up to the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series where he currently races at. He earned Rookie of the Year honors in 2024, captured the series title, the championship in 2025. He has made 7 Cup Series starts. He's currently competing for a second consecutive O'Reilly Auto Parts Series title in that series. Nothing but success for Jesse Love there and moving up into the Wood Brothers camp. Now, Wood Brothers stepped down, but they have some really good relationships out there. And if he continues the trajectory he's on, he's going to end up on one of these tie tier teams coming up here as well for Jesse Love. Another announcement coming out of the racing weekend here in Coronado over in San Diego. Reps from NASCAR and Ford Motor Company did announce this week they're collaborating on a first, quote, proud to honor Veterans Day Classic, unquote. Going to be on Veterans Day, November 11th. Now, that is a week after the championship race there over in Miami Homestead, but it's going to be an exhibition race and yet to be determined location. It'll serve as a nod to all six branches of the military on Veterans Day. Now, like I said, the season will be over November 8th. They're not going to race actual NASCARs. I heard some rumors that it was going to be other types of cars and things to that effect. But now, it would have been an off-track NASCAR military tribute on Veterans Day, but now that they're doing this exhibition race here coming up, that'll actually end the season after the championship as well, coming that way. So more details to come on that. Also around NASCAR, they announced that on one of the aircraft carriers over there in San Diego, and it's pretty spectacular announcement there in San Diego earlier this week. Now that's in all the news around the sport right now, and then excitement galore this weekend, and this is where I feel sorry for IndyCar. But they are getting back to the track this weekend after an off week. They go up to Road America up in Wisconsin. So, since they had an off week last week, let's remind you of the championship points for IndyCar going into this weekend. Look, we're over this race this weekend starts the second half of the season for IndyCar. Alex Palau with the lead here, Kyle Cookwood, David Malakis, Christian Lundgaard, excuse me, and then Pato O'Ward here in the point standing. If you are going to make a run and you're going to try to win the championship and take it away from Alex Palau, well, you better get moving pretty quickly here. You're running out of time in the IndyCar series. And now you're going to Road America, where Alex Palou dominates, folks. The length here is 4.014 miles here up here in Road America. 55 laps for this race, which equates to 220 roughly miles here for IndyCar. Qualifying will be Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern time, which is 11 a.m. our time here on the West Coast, where we do this show in Phoenix. Now, the race is Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern, of course, 11 a.m. here on the West Coast as well, Pacific time zone, on Sunday as well. Look, it's very hard not to pick who's going to win this race because he just dominates it. Alex Palou is the defending champion of this race coming into this weekend. You got to favor him as well. Can anyone beat him? He has 3 victories here at Road America. He's going for his 4th win. He's won 2 of the past 3 Road America races, 3 of the past 5 Road America races. It's been 40 years since this track has witnessed a 3-time winner. That was Michael Andretti back in 1986 was the last to do it. Now Alex is primed to become the first driver with 4 such wins if he wins this weekend. He is a dominant driver, period, but he's a dominant driver at this racetrack. He wins this racetrack more often than he loses it. Obviously, just gave you all of those stats. And look, but somebody has to beat him and compete with him if you're going to go for a championship here as the second half of the season is underway. Now, look, you instantly look at it and go, Alex Palou is winning this race this weekend. Then you want to look and say, who can compete with him? Josef Newgarden struggles on road courses, only wins on ovals. The other guys, right? Ferrucci, Santino Ferrucci, friend of the program, of course, interviewed him when he came through Phoenix in March earlier this year. Finished 3rd at this racetrack last year. This would be a very tough track to get your first win of the season here at Road America coming up here. Pato O'Ward, I like the way he's run all year, but he cannot get to the podium and in the top spot here all year. Is this the week he can finally break into winning a race for the first time this year is the question. David Malakis has run very well this year. He get up there. Kyle Cookwood. They're going to have to compete with Alex Palou and get past him and win a race here to keep the championship pressure on him. So I'm sitting there trying to find a reason not to pick Alex Palou this weekend. And while searching for that reason to not pick him, well, I just found more reasons to actually go with him this weekend and win. So don't fight the most obvious thing in front of you. Alex Palou is getting the win here this weekend at Road America. Period. End of story. If you're picking anybody else this weekend, if just in terms of picking, I want somebody else to win. I think it'd be fantastic if somebody else wins. But if you're just looking at it from the pure numbers, the statistics, the way he runs at this course, you got to pick Alex Palou this weekend as well. And we'll stick with him going into this race this Sunday at Road America as well. Now, talk a little bit about the NASCAR race at San Diego. The inaugural Navy-based Coronado race coming up. Well, let's show you the circuit map here on Coronado. It's be Navy 1 as the deal. You can see the layout here. If you're familiar with Coronado, you get these points here. Going to race in front of obviously large ships, going around the base, going around a bunch of sightseeing areas here this weekend. It's a 3.4 mile street course on the naval base itself. Now, here's the other side of it. Longest circuit here on the NASCAR series of the year. Some stamina is going to be involved. 16 turns are coming up here. Never raced this course before. Never even thought about it. Everybody's seeing it for the first time this week in person. And then you add the longest track of the year on top of it with 16 turns and things to that. Means anything can happen this weekend. There's some unpredictability going into this race. I love this, right? Because last week, picking Pocono, it was fairly easy. Justin Allgaier, Denny Hamlin, they're both running well. They both run well. They're pick them. This weekend, you have your favorites, SVG going into this weekend and things to that effect. But there's enough unknowns going into this. This is going to be a fun little scenic race for those of us watching at home this weekend. So going into the Truck Series, all three NASCAR series are racing this weekend. And as I said, Truck Series especially, nothing but unknowns on the Truck Series. But it is reasonable to expect the weekend trophy here in the Truck Series, it'll be settled by the leaders in the championship point. They're the best drivers in this circuit. They have the most experience in terms of these types of tracks. Let's throw up and remind you, since the Truck Series was off last week, let's remind you what the championship points are for the Truck Series. Lane Riggs in the first spot, just not too far ahead of Caden Honeycutt, who I really like the way Caden Honeycutt's running right now. Chandler Smith is in that third spot. I'm going to expect these three drivers, unless they get caught up into something, these three drivers will be guys that'll be competing for the win here in San Diego on Friday night. Chandler Smith, I already said Chandler Smith, Gio Ruggiero, Christian Eckes, Ben Rhodes, Ty Majeski, Tyler Ankrum, Daniel Hemrick, and Jake Garcia round out your top 10 inside the playoff bubble. There's a lot of close points here between those guys. The last three, and even Stuart Friesen, 9 points out. Grant Effinger's not out of this playoff hunt, 22 points out. Then you get into some distance here. Brendan Queen, Justin Haley. And then you're getting into some guys that are just have to, almost miracles have to happen for them to get into those playoffs as well. Now, why do I say that Lane Riggs, Honeycutt, Chandler Smith are kind of the favorites going into this? Riggs won the season's first road course, and it was first ever street course for the Truck Series as well. You got to go all the way back to week 1 here at St. Petersburg back in March. He won that one. Caden Honeycutt won the most recent one up at Watkins Glen as well. That was the week after I said, Caden Honeycutt's winning a race coming up here, folks. I like the way he's running. Boom. I didn't think he'd win a road course, but he goes out and wins Watkins Glen. 5 drivers in this field have won at road courses, including former champ Ben Rhodes, Justin Haley, Parker Klingerman. Daniel Hemrick boasts the best average finish in the field on road courses of 5.86 as well. I don't think Justin Haley, Parker Klingerman, and I'm even going to throw Ben Rhodes. Ben Rhodes can win this race. Just I don't like the way they've been running this year in confidence. And you're going into a new racetrack, never been raced before. All the excitement of racing here for the first time kind of worries me a little bit if you just haven't been up front a lot this year. There's also some big names racing in this truck race. 7-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. He's a Hall of Famer in NASCAR, Jimmy Johnson. It's his first Truck Series start in 17 years. He's also from San Diego, Jimmy Johnson is. He'll be driving the number one Toyota this weekend, Tricorn Garage. Then another Californian out there, but an owner right now, Trackhouse Racing Team owner, Justin Marks. He's going to make his first series start in the Truck Series since 2022. He's going to be in that Spire Motorsports 77 Chevrolet this weekend. Then there was at one time, he was a full-timer in this Truck Series. He was a very popular driver as well, Brendan Gugan, who last raced in this series in 2013. He's getting back into a truck this weekend. He's going to command the number 20 Chevrolet. So a fan favorite getting back in there for this race. Now, there's also a commentator coming in. Now, he's a Fox commentator now, but he won the 2010 Daytona 500. We're talking about Jamie McMurray making his first Truck Series start in 2008. He'll drive in Colleague Racing's number 25 Ram truck this weekend as well. So some big name guys coming back for this race as well. I don't think they'll factor into the winning side of it, but some star power coming into this Truck Series. Double practice for the Truck Series, no less. Friday, of course, coming up, 12 to 12:40 p.m. Eastern, which means 9 to 9:40 our time out here on the West Coast. Then there'll be a second practice for the Truck Series, 1 to 1:40 p.m. Both of these practices are on FS2 coming up as well. So 1 means 11 o'clock here on the West Coast, 11 to 11:40. That's going to be our first glimpse of the racetrack in competitive form. Now, it's a practice, I get it. But if you want to see the competitive form for the first time, qualifying will be your first chance with the Truck Series. Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, which means 11 o'clock our time out here in the West Coast. I think I said the practice. It's actually 10 o'clock for the practice, our time. 11 o'clock for qualifying on Friday for 11 a.m. Folks, you're going to want to tune into this. It's your first time you're going to be seeing this racetrack under race conditions, right, with the qualifying. Then Friday night is the race, 7 p.m. Eastern, which means 4 p.m. here on the West Coast over there in San Diego. 4 p.m. green flag will fly. And we're going to see how this racetrack races, at least for the Truck Series. We'll see, so, it's obviously going to change for the O'Reilly and for the Cup Series. But we'll see the sights, the sounds, how guys are handling some of these turns. Truck Series Friday night coming up as well. So who's going to win this race? I'm going to go with Caden Honeycutt. He's not the best on road courses. One Watkins Glen. I think him or Lane Riggs are probably going to be your final two going into this rain here. I'm going to go Caden Honeycutt to surprise everybody this weekend and get the win in the Truck Series as well. Maybe a little bit of a stretch for me, but I'm gonna go that route. I love the way he's been running out there. Then you got the O'Reilly Series practice also on Friday here for them, 12:30 to 1:20 p.m. here on the West Coast, 3:30 to 4:20 p.m. Eastern for practice for the O'Reilly Series. Now qualifying, that's going to be Saturday coming up for the O'Reilly Series, 1 to 2 p.m. Eastern, which means 10 to 11 a.m. here for the O'Reilly Series for qualifying on Saturday. Then they get right into their race here, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 2 p.m. on Saturday. Of course, CW does the O'Reilly Series as well. So, folks, 2 p.m. racing from San Diego on the Naval Base Coronado for the O'Reilly Series on Saturday. Sam Mayer, if you look at who's in this race, nobody's coming down from the Cup Series to race in all three races like you'll see in these road courses a lot. It's strictly truck guys, strictly for the most part. Truck guys, strictly for the most part. O'Reilly guys, and then the Cup guys. And if you look at the people put in for the O'Reilly Series, Sam Mayer is the most successful road course driver in the field in the O'Reilly Series. Interesting enough, right? He just had that disappointing fourth place finish at Pocono last week when he was battling for the lead and could have won that. So the disappointing end of last weekend almost seems like it's writing its own script here, doesn't it, as well? But does that disappointing nearly won finish last week, does that motivate him going into this weekend? Half of his 8 career series wins, well, they've come on road courses. 4 victories are most among those entered into this weekend. Here's the problem, though, in the O'Reilly series. You got to contend with JR Motorsports or Junior Motorsports out there. Junior Motorsports drivers have won every road course race since Watkins Glen. Back in September of 2024, folks, it's an 11 race road course winning streak. Mayer was a part of that team and that run there as well. He used to be a part of that team. He claimed his last road course win at the Charlotte Roval in October of 2024. But 14 of the last 15 road course race winners, they're not actually competing in San Diego. It'll be open this weekend. And then Sam Mayer. Yeah. Justin Allgaier, he has 3 road course wins. He can win here as well. By the way, just a side note, Jeremy Clements, he's racing in this race. He'll make his 548th series start this weekend. That's an all-time record for him, just to give you a heads up on that. Who's going to win the O'Reilly race on this unknown 3.14 mile track? I think it comes down to Sam Mayer and Justin Allgaier, to be honest with you. And I'm going to lean towards Sam Mayer this weekend. He's going to get his revenge on Justin Allgaier after Pocono. I'm going to go with Sam Mayer this weekend after finishing second or finishing in the top 5 last weekend. Should have passed Allgaier for the win. Didn't get it done. Sam Mayer's winning this weekend at the Naval Base Coronado in the O'Reilly Series as well. Then, of course, we go to Sunday here. Well, we'll see the Cup guys on the track before Sunday. Practice is on Friday, 5 to 5:50 p.m. Eastern Time, which, of course, 2 to 2:50 here on the West Coast. Amazon Prime is where you can see this practice. So you'll see them on the track on Friday. Then on qualifying on Saturday, 2:30 to 3:30 p.m. on the Eastern Time on Amazon Prime, 11:30 to 12:30 for those of us out here on the West Coast in San Diego. So you'll see these guys going. Race conditions for qualifying, for the best race conditions as you can get, right? Going into that. And then after that, it's all Sunday battle. 4 p.m. Eastern, which means 1 p.m. out here in the West. Green flag will be around 1:30 Western time, 4:30 Eastern time here. Of course, Amazon Prime, their final race before it turns over to TNT this weekend. And it's no secret who everybody's looking at this weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen. He's led more road course laps than anybody else out there. He's had 418 led laps on a road course. Tyler Reddick is second with only 267. And this is all in the next-gen era. Tyler Reddick has a 7.13. That's his average finish spots there. Well, Van Gisbergen, he's first with 1.75. Doesn't matter if you've never seen a road course race in your life and you just look at the stats, SVG is the best road course driver in NASCAR history. It's by a long stretch. Even then, Tyler Reddick's streak of 6 top 10 finishes on road courses is second only to Van Gisbergen's 10. SVG is so good at those road courses compared to everybody else. Second place is distant in Tyler Reddick. Not only that, but SVG has a little unknown treat here that is kind of interesting. He's very good at first-time stops on the circuit. Right? Remember, he won the inaugural Chicago Street Course. That's the first time we saw him in a NASCAR track. He also won last year Mexico City's inaugural race, one and done race last year. Now, what's this week? The inaugural race in San Diego. He's won the last 2 inaugural races. His experience on the street cars that he used to race when he was younger and has championships there, that allows him to step into these cars with pretty much unknown situations and just race ahead of everybody. SVG's won half of the road course races he's entered in the Cup Series. 7 of 14. I just gave you those stats. If you've seen a road course with SVG in it, it's impossible to pick anyone by Tyler Reddick or SVG this weekend. There is nobody on this racetrack that won't be a surprise to win if it's not one of those 2 guys. And you have to obviously point toward SVG, the favorite this weekend. It's not even close in terms of statistics. Tyler Reddick can beat SVG on this race if he can. if he can compete with him and stay close enough to him coming up here. But you got to go with the favorite this weekend. Shane Van Gisbergen wins another inaugural road course on Sunday coming up for him. If you guys have it, throw up the map one more time for me going into this race. So you have Road America for IndyCar on Sunday. And then, of course, you have NASCAR race there at Coronado on Sunday as well. Just want to give you guys sorry I threw that on the Kobe and Ethan back there, the production guys, without any known entity I was going to do this to them. Just look at the racetrack again. Now it's going to be beautiful sights, especially as they drive down the ocean with the warships there. You see all the red areas on the left. A lot of that red area is, where the fans will be. There's Admiral Reserve spots there, Hangar Club, pit shop. The shops will be over there and things to that effect as well. Then you get into the base and you'll see a lot of military personnel as you get further into that base side around this racetrack. 3.14 mile, longest of the circuit. I'm excited, folks. Anytime you throw something new into a season, especially something as special as on the Navy base there at outside of San Diego, folks, it doesn't get more special than this weekend. Road America this here at the Naval Base on Sunday, fantastic Sunday by itself. Then you have the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Series Friday and Saturday, giving us the preview of what we'll be looking at coming up on Sunday. I'm excited for this weekend of racing out there. Hopefully you are as well. I appreciate you joining me here for the pit stop. We'll be back next week as well. Of course, wrap up the racing over the weekend at Road America and in San Diego. It switches to TNT coming up, Sonoma, another road course coming our way in NASCAR series as well. The IndyCar is off next weekend, if I do remember correctly. Let me just look that up here really fast. Yes. Nope. Actually, yes. They'll be off until July 4th weekend, as I just looked that up as well. That's Mid-Ohio coming up, folks. So come and join us next week, would you? I'm Stephen McCollum. Have a great racing weekend.